Hey guys, so I was about to start making another video and decided to consult the ACIM Oracle, as I've been doing lately, the A Course in Miracles Oracle, which is at acourseinmiraclesnow.com. You click on this oracle, it'll take you to a random part of the enormous workbook and text and manual for teachers. It'll just drop you somewhere in there, and I've found it very valuable as just sort of a a perspective on whatever is rattling around in my mind at that time. And lately I've been doing this before I make a video because something is always rattling around in my mind before I make a video. But I wasn't thinking about this, but this thing it landed on, lesson 335 in the workbook, is I think one of the most, it's very short. This is very, it's personal to me. It's personal to a life experience that I had after I started to explore all of this stuff in my early 20s with zero life experience and a whole bunch of ideas about what life would be, what it should be, what it had to be, all of that. And there are a lot of people, I think, look, this is all talking about the same thing from a different angle. And so people that are in the manifesting community, especially people who are trying to manifest back a relationship or change a relationship or get something from someone that they're not getting, this idea that I'm about to read you is one of, I think, the most destructive misunderstandings. And it's present in the Course in Miracles group, and it's present in the manifestation community at large. So I wanted to just read this, and I've made videos about this before, but it needs to be repeated today for somebody, clearly, or I wouldn't have been dropped on this one paragraph out of like a million in A Course in Miracles. It's huge, and it dropped me on this. Okay, so lesson 335, I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. Forgiveness is a choice. I never see my brother as he is, for that is far beyond perception. What I see in him is merely what I wish to see, because it stands for what I want to be the truth. It is to this alone that I respond, however much I seem to be impelled by outside happenings. I choose to see what I would look upon, and this I see, and only this. My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own, and I will see it, having chosen to behold my brother in its holy light. Okay, that's the important part. So, this is a big parallel to Neville Goddard, in my opinion, who, in his book, pretty clearly advises you. He doesn't talk about other people all that much, and yet other people are a big focus of the Neville Goddard community. He talks about seeing everyone in their best possible iteration, wishing the best for everybody. Basically, that's the main message about other people from Neville. It's not to try to control them. It's not to, the focus is not on how to get what you want from other people. The focus of Neville Goddard and, of course, A Course in Miracles is all about you and your perception and changing self in order to experience a different outer in Neville's works. In A Course in Miracles, it's more about, getting through the illusion to a constant experience of peace. And the idea of forgiveness is an interesting one, and it's not really phrased as forgiveness in the Neville Goddard community. It's more like, it's your fault, you created this person this way, and so now it's your job to uncreate them. This person did bad things to you because you created it that way. And now, you have to go back and uncreate it now, or you have to try to control this person into being different in your reality. This passage from A Course in Miracles really, I think, drills down to the core concept of everything, which is that everything you're seeing is your perception, including other people and what they do. All of that is heavily distorted by your your perceptions that are coming through a lens of many ideas and things that are based in fear, that are, your lack of self-worth, your deep feelings of insecurity about yourself, and just the nature of this realm. The feeling that is like ever present that your body can be harmed or killed and all of that stuff, that, it's hard not to be aware of that stuff. And all kinds of things come out of that awareness. That's what this is talking about. By the way, if you've started reading Busting Loose from the Money Game, I mean, it's kind of all talking about the same thing. It's talking about removing power from these illusions that are outside of you. And, the idea that people are sort of conforming to what your ideas of them will be, it's like, to me, that's like peripheral to the main point, which is that it's all coming from you, and that this is all about you. It's not about changing another person. And what I think is really dangerous about this, and for people, or maybe dangerous isn't the right word, maybe that's just, coming from my ever-present awareness of the body being able to be harmed or killed. But what I think is an error, that's, I think, a more neutral way to put it, an error that results in a lot of pain for people trying to manifest a specific person, or people who, like me, I experienced this 20 years ago. I'm speaking from direct experience about this, from direct experience about this concept in A Course in Miracles. People take that to mean, they take this forgiveness thing to mean that that this is about what you do in the world. Like, so you read this passage and, okay, I have to forgive. So you're in a relationship with somebody who is toxic, who is maybe physically abusing you, and you take from this, I'm only seeing this person, I'm not seeing this person correctly, and I need to forgive him for the fact that, he punched me in the face last week. I think that's a really easy misinterpretation here, and it's obviously a really easy misinterpretation in the Neville community, that, you created this person to display the behavior that they are displaying. It really doesn't matter if that's true or not. That's kind of the bottom line here. It really doesn't matter. And there's no obligation whatsoever, no matter how, what you believe about your role in the situation. There's absolutely nothing that Neville is saying. There's nothing that A Course in Miracles is saying that says you must stay in the situation that produced this pain for you and force yourself to see it differently until it stops producing pain for you. That's not what any of this means, okay? Forgiveness in A Course in Miracles is seeing through the illusion. So it's when you have moved out of the situation, when you have dumped your abusive boyfriend and gotten some safe distance away, and a little time has passed, and I don't know, it would be helpful if you could do this immediately, but it's recognizing that none of that, it was seen clearly by you. Like, you can't really understand what that even was, because that's the nature of the illusion. Everything you saw, all the judgments you made about it, were distorted. And so your only role, the only thing you're required to do by A Course in Miracles is to just, let it go with the understanding that, this is an illusion. Like, it didn't even happen. It's not real. So there's no point, there's no benefit to you in judging that other person. There's not even really a benefit to you probably in revisiting the situation in your mind. This is about changing your mind. It's about changing your thoughts. It's got nothing to do with staying with somebody, you know, because of the idea that your projection is all that you can see. You know what I mean? Did that make any sense? Like, these things are completely separate from each other, these ideas. The worldly idea of being in the bad relationship and the spiritual idea of, you know, being able to see through this whole thing, they don't have anything to do with each other. You can be in the relationship, you can be out of the relationship. That part doesn't change. It's still up to you. And, you know, the real world good advice that you're probably getting from family and friends to remove yourself from this bad situation is probably exactly the right thing to do for you. And it's got nothing to do with this forgiveness, you know? Forgiveness is something that you do in your mind. It's got nothing to do with any kind of outer obligation to then follow through physically in some way. And, you know, it's hard to say this stuff because I really feel like every mistake that I've made and every situation where, looking back, I see that a misunderstanding created a whole bunch of experiences that caused me a bunch of mental anguish. You know, looking back on those, I can see the benefit that it brought to me. You know, sometimes those experiences are really valuable. Usually any bad experience has some sort of little pearl in it for you, if you're willing to look at it that way and figure out what it is and get it. It's hard for me to say this stuff because pretty much no matter what you go through, you're going to grow and evolve from the experience. But, you know, you're hearing this video and you're searching for answers, probably if you're watching anything having to do with manifestation or spirituality. And so maybe somebody out there can hear this. None of this stuff obligates you to correct any kind of relationship on the earth level. Like, this is about you, not your relationship. You have no obligation. Like, forgiveness in this sense does not mean I forgive you and we move on and we stay in the exact same status that we are in right now. You know, my brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own. It's for you. This is like forgiving, you know, is beneficial to you, and which it is in the human sense. But this too doesn't mean I forgive you because you've wronged me. You're in a lower position. You know, even whether you decide to stay together or not with this person, it's like you say, wow, you know, you're a real piece of shit and I'm better than you and you don't deserve me. But you know what? I'm going to forgive you. I'm not going to be angry at you anymore. I'm not going to, you know, send you angry emails telling you what a piece of shit you are. I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to just say, oh, he didn't know any better. He's, you know, he had a traumatic childhood, so he can't help it. I forgive you. That's not really what this is, although that's better than nothing, honestly, as long as it doesn't make you go back into the relationship. This is about understanding that this whole thing is an illusion. Your brother is sinless because none of this is even real. Your brother, if he even exists, is sinless because he too is mired in the illusion. And when you can recognize that, that feels different than you wronged me, but I'm going to just have mercy on you mentally. I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to hold you in a state of judgment or whatever. Seeing that everything is an illusion is such a relief. It's such a, I mean, how can any of this matter if it's all an illusion? If your perception is only your projections and it's merely what you wish to see, it's merely what you want to be the truth for misguided reasons. If, you know, if it is to this alone that you respond, however much you seem to be impelled by outside happenings, by the circumstances, you know, none of it's real. It's not real for you. It's not real for the other party. It's not real for anyone else that's involved. There's nothing to judge because there's nothing there. This whole world is a projection of fear in its many, many forms. And the only real thing is love in its many forms. So, that to me that just wipes the whole slate clean. And that to me is what they mean by forgiveness in A Course in Miracles, not the typically understood idea of forgiveness. And so when you look at it that way, this whole thing's an illusion. You don't have any obligations to do anything. You certainly don't, because of these manifestation ideas, spiritual ideas, all this stuff. And so many people that are talking confidently about this stuff are just horribly, horribly wrong, and they're out there publicly. There's no obligation. This doesn't mean you are in some way morally obligated to do anything really different than you would have done if you never heard about it. If you never heard about any of this stuff, it doesn't mean that, and I'm really struggling to find a way to articulate this so that it will get through. Because it's so great when you can avoid going through painful situations by learning from other people having gone through them. It's like taking a big leap forward in your whole life experience when you can get this. You could waste years of your life misunderstanding the whole point of all of this stuff and just spinning your wheels trying to contort this 3D manifestation that you can't even really understand, that you're not even really seeing clearly, because everything is coming through this distorted lens that you see everything through. You could spend years because some specific person, manifestation coach on YouTube, said one thing that stuck in your mind, like, you created this, so why wouldn't you just fix it? Something like that. It gets in there, and then it creates this whole experience for you. And it's crazy. You can lose years to that. It's kind of tragic in a way. Anyway, I just felt compelled to make a video about this after landing randomly on this paragraph, this one little paragraph out of a million. You're free. You are free. You don't have any obligations. You don't have any obligations to other people. You don't have any obligations. And again, those words will probably be distorted and misused, and that's just the nature of this reality. While you don't have any obligations to other people, I've seen people take that idea and use it to justify abandoning children. That really bothers me. But I think at this point, I'm not interested in judging what other people do anymore, since forgiveness is a choice. I never see my brother as he is. It is to my misperception alone that I respond. You know what? The bottom line is it's all good. And yeah. I guess I'll keep exploring this and see how it goes. I hope that helped somebody in some way, not to get this idea in your head that you continue to forgive and forgive and forgive and forgive and forgive in the typical human sense, no matter what somebody else does to you. That is not at all what it means. It's about you recognizing the illusion that any bad thing ever even happened in reality, in the only way that things are real. Here in the illusion, you still have to do stuff. Here in the illusion, you still have to get money. You still have to get food so that you can not starve to death. You have to find water so that you don't die of thirst. Here in the illusion, you might still have to remove yourself from a dangerous situation with a dangerous person. Have a great day.